It just speaks to who Kawhi is as far as his overall character, what are the things he's about. He spent most of his life in the San Diego area, wants to be back in that area, wants to play for a different organization, preferably the Clippers or the Lakers. Those are his only two choices as far as where he wants to go. And it also lets you know that there are some things within San Antonio's organization that he has decided he would much rather not be a part of, and money is not his motivation. He believes that in Southern California, he'd be a lot happier. So that's the reason why he's made the decision to force San Antonio to trade him.
See, if you didn't know Kawhi and his people, if this were, pick a different player, if this were Anthony Davis, just another superstar caliber player, and you didn't know the background, would it not shock you that a guy might leave $70 million on the table?
Well, on paper, it looks like $70 million, but it's not $70 million. It's different than that because you get that fifth year of the contract with the team, and then go ahead.
No, I was going to say I understand your point that it's 5 years, 219, as opposed to 4 years, 140-ish, and so that's where the $70 million. But okay, so make it 5 years. Now we're talking. Okay, it's not $70 million. It's $40 million. It's not. No matter how much money you have, it's not a rounding error. It's an enormous amount of money, and a guy with some injury history, that having the 5 years locked in is important. The only reason this isn't shocking to me is because you've been covering this story, and we've been covering this story for months, so we knew this was coming. Otherwise, this would be to not sign the Supermax unless the team just has no history of winning or something like that. It is mind-boggling.
Well, most time people aren't being honest. They always say, well, it's not about the money, but very rare do you see a person like Kawhi that he actually can back that up, where it isn't about the money. It's just about where he wants to play basketball and where he thinks that he's going to be happy.
And where he doesn't want to play basketball, because as you've told us, there's a reason he doesn't want to stay in San Antonio anymore. Yes, he wants to go to Los Angeles, but equally as important for him in making this decision is he doesn't like some of the things that are happening in San Antonio and the way he's been treated by the organization.
Yeah, of course. That's one of the reasons why. He's not upset with Popovich, how he coached them. He's not upset that they don't have a chance for championships, but the way they police the players day to day, it's been told to me they want a bunch of yes people, a lot like New England Patriots. That's the only comparison that I would have in pro sports. And Kawhi, he's a guy, he doesn't mind doing exactly what the organization wants, but he's also a guy that he would like to be learned. He would like to have more information, and he would like for them to be able to explain a lot of the simple things they want the players to do. And he might do them, but he'd like an explanation of why they would have that approach.
All right, so Brian Windhorst talked about this yesterday, and it's similar to what I'm hearing, which is if you talk to cap people, you don't even need like some great league source. Just people that really understand the cap and the CBA, or even can just play with the trade machine online, you realize because of the contracts the Lakers have, and because they didn't trade for it, they didn't sign guys to multi-year deals. They got guys to one-year deals, and they don't have a lot of mid-priced veterans. There's no practical way to make a two-team trade, Kawhi Leonard going to the Lakers, work. We also know the Clippers just flatly, even though they have the contracts to make it work, don't have the assets. Now, the Lakers could make it work come late December once you can trade away those one-year players. But you've been told Kawhi is not going to play for the Spurs ever again, correct?
I've been told that Kawhi wants out of San Antonio. I've been told he'd prefer to be traded to the Los Angeles, to the Clippers, or the Lakers. That's what I've been told.
So the reason I bring it up is it's one thing to get to Los Angeles immediately, and it's another thing to get there a year from now. And unless there's a third team, I've been saying all along, I think it's going to end up a Laker. But now, even if the Spurs and Lakers agree on compensation, let's say Ingram, Kuzma, a first-round pick, and a pick swap, Spurs say that's good enough, there needs to be a third team involved to help the cap machinations work. And the reason I brought up Windhorst is he talked about how the Nets don't have cap space all of a sudden. The Bulls signed Jabari Parker to $20 million. They don't have the cap space to help make it work all of a sudden. And that's one of the reasons you're hearing Toronto come back into the fold.
They can make it work.
They can make it work. And if the Spurs like DeMar DeRozan, that's also an attractive win-now proposition. If you're the Raptors, even if you think it's just a rental, you could say, Does Kawhi Leonard plus Kyle Lowry and our young pieces make us the favorites in the East? We won 59 games last year without Kawhi Leonard. He's better than DeMar DeRozan. You understand why for Toronto, even if it's just a rental, that would be an attractive piece. That's something that I thought had a close to 0% chance 2 weeks ago. Now, as it becomes tougher and tougher for a trade to the Lakers or Clippers to be consummated without another team helping out, I think you have to open up to the fact that Toronto could be actually legitimately in this game right now for Kawhi.
If Toronto trades for Kawhi without talking to him and getting the player's opinion on it, I would say it would be very, very foolish. So on paper, it might look like Toronto, but as far as being able to get a deal done, I don't see Toronto being able to get a deal done with Kawhi.
Well, so that's what I want to ask you. If they can't make a trade work with the Lakers, and the fact that you need the third team matters at this point, do you believe Kawhi? Isn't Kawhi's number one priority getting out of San Antonio? Even if that means there's a...
No, I think his number one priority is getting to Los Angeles.
So, okay. I mean, that's... So if Toronto, I think is the most likely. If they call up the Spurs and the Spurs say you can talk to Kawhi, do you have any idea of do you think Kawhi's response is, listen, it's a rental, or Kawhi's response is, you shouldn't even trade for me at all?
My message has been consistent. What I've heard from Kawhi's camp is they are not entertaining anything in the Paul George variety. That want to go to Los Angeles, want to do it as soon as possible.
Anything else?
No.
Right.
I just want the audience to know that it's not as simple anymore as the Lakers and the Spurs understanding it. The Clippers don't have the assets. People don't follow the cap, and I get it. Like, oddly enough, the Bulls giving Jabari Parker $20 million made this more complicated.
Right.
The Nets doing what they did make this more complicated when you need a third team involved.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.